Good. Brian's still connected.
So this campground and subdivision is one. Where did that come from? What's the original?
Yeah, it's not in the actual ordinances yet. We're going to work on that.
That's from like 1982, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Like, I'm fit for what really happens.
Brian, can you hear us?
So is there one person who's in sense all of that? Just Brian.
Can you hear us, Brian? Brian, can you hear us?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. All right, ready? Okay, I call this meeting of the Tallulah Falls Planning and Zoning Commission on April 14th, 2026 at about 6:04 to order. The first item is the adoption of the agenda as presented for today's meeting, April 14th, 2026. Can I get a motion for approval? Okay, David,
No, second.
okay. The next item is the approval of the minutes from September 23rd, 2025 and November 11th, 2025. Can I get a motion for approval?
Second.
Okay. Okay, so next side, there's no old business today, so we're gonna go to the new business right away. We're going to hear from Michelle Moore and Trish Dare regarding their proposal or request to allow restricted short-term vacation rentals within the Fry subdivision.
Thank you for having us and all of you volunteering your time to serve, we appreciate it. So I do better with just a read a statement, and it is largely what I submitted, but because I thought some other folks might be here today, or just to kind of make these notes part of the record. So like many, we were and we remain opposed to changing zoning from residential to business on River Street. We were and we remain opposed to new construction in our residential areas R1 solely for the purpose of building short-term rentals. And unfortunately, despite great efforts and expense on the part of the town council, as well as personal financial loss to a local small business owner, the battle to prevent the zoning change on River Street for the purpose of constructing multiple short-term rental units was lost. Protecting the residential quality of River Street remains important to us, yet we are fast becoming surrounded by commercial entities. Just 300 feet away, plans exist for a hotel and rental cabins, and on the other end of River Street, number 102 River Street, has recently sold to P&P Rental Properties, LLC. So we are asking the council to allow a very restricted short-term vacation rental designation for homes currently existing within the Fry subdivision located on River Street. And while obviously we defer to the committee and the council to determine the best fit for this circumstances, some municipalities choose various designations for limited exceptions to zoning restrictions, such as what's called STVR special use permit or an STVR overlay district. And I summarize those below. So, but I do want to go over the restrictions that that we're proposing, because we feel that's essential, is that this is a very restricted proposal. So what we're saying is the restrictive nature of our request allows a homeowner who fully intends to return to their home for some part of the year to realize some extra income. At present, there are 2 homeowners within the Fry subdivision who are interested in STVR, and both support the following restrictions when renting for less than 30 days. Okay, so the restrictions we're proposing are: number 1, a minimum stay of 5 days would be required. Number 2, no more than 90 days out of the 365-day calendar year would be allowed for short-term rental. The home must be at least 10 years old to be eligible to apply for a permit. And of course, the intent here is to prevent new construction for vacation rentals. And again, I put 10 years, that the structure is 10 years. That's sort of arbitrary, you know, the UN council might say less or more, or whatever. But anyway, the intent there is that there's not new construction strictly for short-term rental. The next restriction would be is that if this proposal, if approved, that it would be up for review and renewal in 5 years, so that at that time modifications or even termination would be allowed. Okay, and then all the existing STVR ordinance regulations would apply, and we looked them over and felt like they were good as far as number of strikes in your permit would be revoked, no sound ordinances and so forth. So that's kind of the basic thing. I do have the summary that I provided you in notes, you know, the summary of special use permit, and then a summary of sort of what I could find on the overlay districts that some other municipalities.
And Linda, pass that on.
Okay, so any questions for us?
Well, we wanna start, like, I'll say something and then just go along here and see what we agree and don't agree on, or, you know, I mean, we don't make any final determination, is that? Okay. So, okay, so I'm a little conflicted because there are some rentals along the river already. That are
On
in
the other
place,
side of the lake?
right? You know, so to me, it would be hard to say to someone who had, you know, who lives next to a short-term rental. Or, you know, 2 houses down, no, you can't, even though, you know, they already are. Even, you know, we all know there's a specific area where short-term rentals are allowed in Tallulah Falls, and that in the business district and highway business district. Which is mentioned in the short-term vacation rental pages on our government website. As far as the proposal for certain rules in an overlay district, I'm not sure that would be possible. I don't think Tallulah Falls has, obviously, they don't have many employees to be able to keep track of these rules for this group and these rules for that group. So, which is to say that if you were to allow short-term rentals, I think everyone would have to follow the same rules. I think. Again, like the people who are on the riverside, since there are already some people in that area that aren't in the business district that are allowed to have short-term rentals.
You come on the opposite side of the river, the
Ye-
urban,
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's,
that's the only one I can think of.
yes,
Okay.
right. There might be one more,
And that's,
And I'll talk to them.
that's own business too.
Yeah, I think the whole
Is
thing
it?
is on business over there.
okay, but it's still on. It's still on that side of the river where if somebody lives next to it. You know what I'm saying, like it's all along the river, it's hard to say. To me, it would be hard to say no to someone. But also, you know, if we allow one group of people to do it, we're gonna get people from the community, I think. Doing this then. Often, like, okay, so for our group, can we be allowed to have the short-term rentals? I wouldn't be opposed to short-term rentals. I think most of the time property owners keep up their property better when, you know, they're renting out something. Like you said, I think the most important thing is enforcement of rules regarding short-term rentals. And I'd like to know if I lived right next to one and say somebody was making noise at 11 o'clock at night, I wanna know who to call right then and there to get it stopped. That is really important to me. And obviously, we need to get public input, from everybody on that River Street to hear what they have to say. So Christie, do you wanna have anything that?
All this, honestly, I feel like we need to look at doing an entire short-term or rental program per se,
Mhm.
where we have certain rules for everything with compliance. One of my fears as somebody that drives that road every day, is running over somebody that's in the middle of the road, or whether we're in the middle of the road trying to walk and somebody that's not used to it runs,
Since our roads are so
Yes, because
small
they're
out
not
here,
very big.
yes, right,
which granted, they did add additional paving and it has gotten a little wider. It's much better than it was a year ago. Even with the gravel was better than what it was. And then also, like insurance. They're gonna wanna use a grill. We're in the middle of a red flag, you're not supposed to have fires out. So what happens if they start a fire? Is your policy big enough to cover damage to so-and-so's house? Are you gonna have a commercial policy because that's a commercial activity? How is that going to be handled? Are we gonna require minimums on those? Rules that we have a rule book that we put, you're required to have in your unit.
yes, that is one that on the
That-
page, that is definitely one of the rules. On the government website, that you have to have all the rules of Tallulah Falls on your property, so, but yeah, there's.
But as somebody who lives close, those are my concerns. with
Yes,
Short-term
yeah.
vacation rentals. I get that, you're gonna keep your property up. That's not so much my concern. It's who you're having in there
Mhm.
and they don't care. I mean, like my kids, when we go places, I'm constantly like, don't do that, don't do that. This is not our house. You can't run like that. You can't jump like that. But,
Yeah, a lot of people don't feel that way, yes, definitely,
age restrictions,
yes,
because the last thing we want
Yes.
is a whole fraternity coming up here, now the
Right.
entire thing, and we've got. you know,
yes, I agree with
I
that.
think that we really need to look at having a whole rule book,
Mhm.
basically, for all of them. Regardless
Yes,
if it's a special use permit or it's just a straight short-term vacation rental period.
yeah, I definitely.
And put
agree.
everybody on the same page with that.
Okay, Alan, you.
I just have questions, I guess. Just talking about the permit and all this stuff, like, I mean, and you said there's someone that already rents out, and then if we created a rule, then they would be able to just be grandfathered in or whatever it is, but like, what do we do right now? Like, what do we have? Do we have anything? Any type of like
The rules, you mean?
yeah, like,
Yes, it's on, if you go on the government
Yeah.
website in the planning and zoning, there is a whole page just
Yeah.
for short-term rentals.
okay,
Yeah,
But
And-
basically, you have to have a business license, you have your own business to have it.
have it, okay.
That's,
So if you're not zone business and you can't
yeah,
rent,
and there's rules that go along with that, you
Okay.
can't be in a residential zoning.
Okay.
Or multifamily for that matter.
and you guys wanna rent or you don't wanna rent, like, or I guess I'm confused.
Oh, like up to 90 days of the year, if not more than that, or that could also be more or less. For
Okay.
particular, that we would be allowed to do the short-term rental.
Okay,
So
okay,
currently, there's a long-term rental in place, so you can rent,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
over
30
30 days.
yes,
yeah,
correct.
Yeah, minimum 30-day rental currently in residential area,
Okay.
so we're asking for. Restricted short-term rental where it doesn't have to be, this whole stretch doesn't have to become business in order for us to do that.
okay, all right, thank you.
I think you're right, that it needs to be kind of, I think it could be almost like a wholesome book with restrictions,
Yes.
right? Like, and you're asking for just River Street solely, not Hickory Nut Mountain?
Well, the Fry subdivision to me seemed like a kind of one, it's a historic subdivision created in 1912, I think it was, and I was the first full-time resident of it in 1997. So it took a while to catch on. But I think the idea was trying to allay any fears of people on the mountain, like we were trying, we're like, oh no, this is gonna snowball and everybody's gonna be doing it, and so we thought, well, maybe that would be reassuring, no, we're just gonna talk about these houses, and the idea that the house would have to be, I think I said 10 years old, again, we were just trying to really craft it in a way that would reassure people that we're really trying to help keep this narrow, if that was the desire, because that's what we kind of expected, is that the desire would be for this to be a very narrow thing.
And keep it that residential community.
Yeah.
Rather than,
Which does not include Hickory Nut Mountain.
Right, and the fear of people building just for the buying and building just for doing short-term rental, and that, we're very opposed to.
That's what I mean by wholesome
Oh,
restrictions, because if we're talking about like 12 people, right? Like the
Not even
owners.
that many, is it?
Well, right now, we just know the two.
So we're
Well, I mean,
talking,
there's only like 5 houses right
Oh,
there.
right.
Total.
yeah, so we're talking about 5 houses and about maybe 12 people. So it could be very restrictive, and those people maybe even sign a waiver of understanding and consent that they abide by that. And then in case of, like you were saying, at worst case scenario, who's in charge of being called?
Yes,
And
right.
doing a necessary
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
And it is kind of a soft launch into the idea of, with the hotel coming in inevitably, of having kind of that soft launch of like business on that street in that area. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary because I live there and I'm a resident there, so it's like, oh wow, but I also do own an STR in Tiger, so I have experience with STRs. And the property is well kept, and the people are lovely, and there's some key factor to the 5-day thing. People who rent for 5 days are coming to enjoy the area and to kind of saturate a little bit more into the neighborhood versus somebody that's coming to like in and out for even just a weekend. So there's some like beauty to the 5-day thing. And then the 90 days per year, like who is checking on that?
yeah, that's,
Because
Right.
you can go on somebody's STR and look at the days they've rented and see. It's usually posted publicly.
if they're posting on that, not doing, I mean, you can do stuff, aside from the reservation system too, so.
Yeah, I think that would be
but-
hard to, it would need, that's why I like the 5 houses and the 12 people would, there has to be some honor system happening.
mhm.
And understanding between those peoples that is part of the agreement, like it needs to be very honorable in that way.
And that's what, I just feel that, because certainly Tallulah Falls they just don't have employees to
Okay,
keep check on it. I mean, is it just, Linda and just the mayor and the city council who don't work for Tallulah Falls, and then the 2 police, and that's it. So, that's who's gonna check on these rules. I think I would think they would all have to have the same rules, which you can put into effect. That this will be a long conversation, right, of what exactly all the rules will be.
and does it have to be Tallulah Falls policing it, or is Tallulah Falls also part of Raven County in that way that it goes outside of Tallulah Falls?
Action in Raven County,
I
so.
would think for that. it would
Down
have
there
to be
it's Raven
Twin
Falls.
I would think it would have to be Tallulah Falls also, because they don't get involved in
Just for something like
any of
that.
our.
Now, if it's 11
ordinances.
o'clock at night and they're going crazy, I would think anybody that would respond, Haversham or Raven,
Yeah, call 911.
emergency, they're all gonna respond.
But that needs to be really sought.
Yes, yes.
Understood
Right.
backwards and forwards,
I agree.
because that is obviously always going to be the greatest concern is safety,
Mhm.
which should be the priority. So if that can get fully understood, and agreed upon.
Yes.
So I think that is room, there's a lot of room for Q and A in that concept. So safety and, but I do think that some of the 5-year thing, like revisiting it after 5 years. I just feel like the economy and everything is changing so fast in Marion County that maybe that could be shortened to like 2 years and give it a go, just because it's the soft launch of the idea. So if this was to actually like roll out, having the opportunity to be like, wow, that was 5 of the worst years in school history. You know, so having maybe a little shorter review for it so that it isn't, if it isn't going well, that it can end shortly after that.
And there are already, restrictions in place for, I guess, if you're doing things, you can break the rules, right?
Yes.
If you had a short-term rental in the commercial or business district, then there's a path already to remove that license.
Yes,
And
correct.
revoke that license. I agree that, you know, I think people who own property here and are residents here, would be better landlords for short-term rentals than outside companies who are part of the community. So, I think, you know, that's important in a way to maybe keep out some of the companies that do come in and buy real estate and do it. But, you know, who's to say that's not gonna be the next thing that happens? And I think really maybe, I think Asheville did this, where they had it, where if you had at your house and you had like an ADU or something like that, and a garage apartment, whatever, that you live there, then you can have it because you're living there, you have to listen to the noise. I like that
Oh,
check, something like
yeah.
that. And I think like, we're a small town, but we are in a state park and in a recreational area. And so I think having something where our residents were participating in the economy of short-term rentals would be better. And I don't think limited to one little area. I think as a town, it should be something that we could accommodate that. But once again, there is no, you know, ordinance at this point for this to happen. And so what would have to happen is the council would have to kind of give a go ahead, because we could spin our wheels a long time and put a lot of stuff together, but if they're not on board. So have you guys spoken to the council?
Just loosely, you know,
Okay.
I mean, we haven't presented, because this was step one.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what Linda said, yeah, go to the planning and zoning
Yeah.
first.
And just from like the experience I've had, you know, with some of the stuff we proposed.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
That, I'm gonna like, why are you doing this, you know, so I'm like, well, cause we're trying to, you know, make some better things for zoning and planning, and so, but I really. I guess they're the head, right, and so I think to even reach out to the different council members and kind of get a feel. And then present something to them, and then they'll probably keep back to us to draw up. You know, some outline, which then they would go through and strike through or add stuff to, so it would be a long process. But it's worth the stab, and I'm supportive of, you know, people who are part of this community. Being able to take part in that part of the tourism economy, keeping it under control. And I think that should be a stipulation for whatever we do. It has people, you have to live here. Be an inhabitant. And because that way you suffer with it. It's already changed a lot. We have a lot more, I mean, we're over 1 million visitors a year to the gorge now, something like that. It's, you know, it's crazy. It's not.
I think it got a bad rep. I don't think it's a suffer through it kind of thing. I think that happens. I lived in Athens previously, and yes, fraternities, sororities, yes, young people, yes. But my experience has been with like just lovely people. And just-
That was being said, I guess it's in the door with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
if it was gonna be bad, then if you're a community member, then you're feeling the ramifications. If it's good, then we're all happy, right? No one's gonna complain when it's good or say much of anything, but when it's bad, you really hear about it.
Yeah, and the fear is that it's gonna be, you're gonna have a terrible guest, like that's worst case scenario, it's valid. And some of the short-term rental companies like Airbnb really favor the guests. So as a host, you don't have as many rights right now today that you had 2 months ago. And it's kind of leaning that way more and more and more to where people are getting off of that platform and starting their own websites for it. So we could even look into having like a website for the Cholula Falls Fry subdivision and rentals. I mean, that you can go from and click on from there. So you can even be more trackable.
Well, who are you saying would run that website?
Well, the people that are renting their
Okay,
houses out.
okay.
Yeah, it was need to be that's the like wholesome contract,
Mhm.
5 houses, 12 people thing.
Yeah,
I think that's where you can get into controlling because you do have to have special insurance.
oh, sure,
You
yeah.
know, and you do have to you have to check the people that are coming. You have to like look at who's coming and have references and it's a lot of work to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure.
It is, but it can be done and done well. So
So do we think that, the idea of having separate rules is not, we're gonna agree on that these, whatever these, if it happened that there were short-term rentals, we were gonna have to talk long and hard about stricter
No,
rules.
With
in
it
that?
being just that one place, I mean, it's only the lots that touch the lake. I mean, that's pretty,
Well, isn't that a lot though? A lot of lots that touch lake, if you talk about going around the lake, or I don't.
not that are currently,
10 years.
Yeah.
But you have hundreds of acres on this side of the lake beyond that.
but you never know what Georgia Power is gonna do if they sell their land.
And there's private land held on this side too, before you get to Georgia Power. So, I mean, that one day becomes something and they could, bring a lawsuit and say, hey, this isn't fair. And
That's what yes.
so that's what you open it up.
Because that did happen.
Yeah,
Literally just happened.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so you say, okay, you can have yours, and then the next group of people come in and say, well, why can't we have ours then? What,
Well, that 2 year like revisit
Yeah.
could be like, this is a soft launch, like work with us. We're just seeing how it goes. Don't need to like, what about me?
Mhm.
Like, we're just feeling it out with real people, trying to have an experience and see how it goes.
So no matter what, we would have to figure out what the rules will be.
We'd have to come out with a proposal.
Yes,
Of the whole outline of the whole
Yeah.
regulations, we probably would, someone else's other regulations.
Yes.
to Come up with an idea and a map, but then that would go to the council.
correct. Yeah.
And so that's what I was kind of saying, it is best maybe if we know what the council says, if this is like something they want to consider. Or just apply for a variance, or a special.
We looked into that and the variance seemed more problematic.
Seemed harder to manage.
I think it was that there was a hardship requirement to a variance. It like say you have a driveway that, there's some reason to get into your house, your driveway's gotta be here when that's not part of the law. So it looked like there was a hardship
Okay.
requirement to that. But I mean, I think all these are really good points and having been here a long time, or been a part of the community so many years. So I think the reason we went about this was because, and in speaking with some of the council members, the feeling was if people on the mountain are gonna be very concerned about everyone wanting to short-term rental up there. And so I guess our impotence
Yep,
was sort of
so-
like, oh, we better try and
Narrow.
reassure and narrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But kind of what you're saying also, because another route would be if you did make it general and said there's only gonna be this certain either number of permits or percentage to the total households or something.
Beyond.
Just,
one small area.
Yeah, and that might address some of the
Mhm.
concerns, you've raised, but again, I think that it was in trying to make sure that the mountain folks were concerned about it being so many, that this was just gonna snowball.
And
Yes,
the current short-term rental for the business areas, it's pretty comprehensive, so
Yeah.
there's a great foundation to build it.
Yes,
Just wanna
yeah.
make it restricted for.
So in your
Yes.
proposal, you're saying that you're proposing this, you can only use it if it's your primary residence where you are.
Well, actually, the way I worded it, would be that the owner intends to be there part of the year.
So maximum 90 days.
Yeah, and that's also flexible to me, you know, it could be a little less or a little more. Or like, for instance, if you adopted something and followed the whole town's general thing, we'd probably only choose to do it 60 to 90 days of the year, you know, but other people.
Insurance changes after 90 day, after 81 days.
Oh, really?
I think it's like, the insurance, no, it's 181 days, so 90 is like way below that, but yeah, insurance changes it because you're now using it solely as a rental and not. And that's something, yeah, not related, but as your.
That's what I was gonna say too, with residency, you have to be in place 180 days of the year,
Yeah,
181.
yeah, so it does, there's some language in there that matters, but I don't think it's relevant to this situation. I think it's more relevant to once you start renting it out with insurance.
so I guess we need to get, property owners involved in this, then to hear what they have to say.
We'd have to have a public hearing if we move forward plan, with a plan to change the zoning, then there would be a public hearing part of this where we would hear what people have to say.
And then after that would be when we then start talking about more rules and that. Is
I
that,
would think so.
okay,
I would hate for us to do all the work and then if it gets to council and they're like, no, we're not doing that. We don't like this idea, thanks for tabling it.
the public too, I
Yeah.
mean, if they say, we don't
Hear
want this.
what people have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, like I say, I support that people who are part of this community being able to benefit from the place that we live and make a little extra money, much more so than having a strip of like, you know, motels lining the lake and it just looked like Miami Valley or something, you know, 50 years ago.
It is so niche. This is such a niche thing.
We're a small community.
Yeah, I wonder if other places have or are doing, do you know of any other lakes that are doing? I know what you're proposing.
Well, Georgia Power lease lots don't allow it, and so we're on a fee simple lot, so that's probably but you will see Airbnb, you know, when you go on the site, you'll see some places listed for the other lakes.
But there are examples in the
Oh.
back with Savannah, at
What's
least
that?
creating those overlays.
Okay,
So Georgia Power lease lots don't allow it, so that takes a lot of people out of it anyway, right? Am I?
okay.
We don't have a ton of lease lots, but Georgia Power owns a lot of land here.
Okay,
Like my neighbors are
If they
leased.
ever did sell, I would be willing to bet they're not gonna give you a whole lot, they would keep a lease lot with that if they were to sell off their land.
okay,
Because they're gonna wanna control the lake.
yeah,
And, you know, a while ago, so another big landowners, the Pruitt family. And,
That's right,
and
the big hole.
And they did get a conservation easement for the boundary of the lake, which I thought was encouraging, you know, so could, could that be revoked or whatever, I don't know, but anyway, I think that's the big property of the unknown. I mean, well, we know that the birds are
109
planning,
acres they own, I believe, is that right over there?
what's that?
Like 190.
Yeah,
That's on-
yeah,
on this
all the
side.
way up to the
Like,
Viking.
like 800 or 900 acres.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so I think it does make sense to try and
I think
anticipate.
now,
yeah, something's coming down the road sometime, yeah. Okay,
I wanna throw something out there really quick. We could, Asheville is the closest similar like geography, right? And there are many, many lakes on that. And I can look on like ChatGPT and see what they have and write it up in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, a little Brevard, maybe something smaller,
Mhm.
Brevard's a Asheville city, so it's like a major city, really.
Yeah, and putting all these
Framework.
parameters into
Mhm.
the legalities of it and then writing it up and then rewording it too.
and don't, yeah, and also, don't forget to take a look at our website for short-term rentals. because it gets into, you know, certificate of occupancy and, you know, basically anything you'd need to find out about it, except I don't think it goes into enough, like, for instance, you know, 25 years or older, you know, for renting.
You know, I love that requirement. I
Yeah.
think we would be, actually, you know.
We
you
have
probably-
a requirement.
Well, but the problem is Airbnb doesn't allow,
Age
that-
restrictions.
Yeah,
but
it's
Our
VRBO.
households are.
Yeah, but to me, that would be a great reassurance if it were a town ordinance.
Yes.
That it can't be rented to, if you wanna say 30-year-old, you know,
Yeah, correct.
I think an age limit is critical.
And that the person who rents has to be the one that
I mean,
is,
there's a reason why your
is coming,
car insurance drops. after the 24
Right,
hours.
yeah. right,
And it can be just simple as saying, well, insurance only covers this age and up for what we're doing.
mhm,
And
Okay.
it cannot be like an umbrella concept.
yeah. So is the first step, having a public meeting? And then maybe talking to the council to,
The public is gonna have the same questions we're having.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say, we
wouldn't-
don't have answers yet.
Wouldn't hurt to come up with like soft answers,
okay,
just so that they kind of,
Proposed guideline.
yeah, we could propose a guideline. And it's really oddly, scarily easy to copy a website and put it into ChatGPT. Copy and put in all of the things, and then you say to it, with all of this in mind and these restrictions, this amount of people, and the more facts you add into it and curate it, you can really regurgitate a very lovely packet
mhm,
of the soft launch.
Highlands has short-term vacation rentals. That would be another close community. Highlands, I'm trying to think of other, you know,
Highlands does have some, but
they're pretty restrictive.
they are, yeah, and it's coming from a different place. It's coming from a place of like wealth, and it's a little different angle, but not in like a inconsiderate way, but
Sky Valley, they,
yeah. I'll try to find a similar town.
it's hard.
It's very
This is
neat.
like the smallest town I think you could possibly find to
Mhm.
do this, so.
Which I think is very sweet.
So have you guys been around for any public meetings regarding short-term rentals in the past? No, yeah, and how'd they go? What do you think?
Same here. I mean,
Mhm,
safety was really the biggest concern.
okay.
And the safety and the fact that roads are not built to withstand
Right.
it. And like, I know if I see a car coming down the mountain and I'm over here that I need to stop and see, does this car gonna turn left or not? But you don't know who is going to, and there can't put two people at a stop sign right here together.
Right,
If somebody's there, nobody else can turn, so
Yeah.
there's a stalemate.
and we
so-
have a corner too by us that there's no stop sign at all, so
Yeah.
it's who decides.
And, you know, I mean, my child will be driving in 2 years and I'm terrified.
There are those mirrors, it looks like a glass circle,
Mhm.
and it's like bulbous, and you can see in that glass.
But they don't know to stop. Like, I know to stop. Because
Right.
I can see it and I drive it every day, but you have a random person coming in here, they're not gonna know to
Yeah,
stop.
cause they're gonna be like, you don't have a stop sign, I'm going, right?
That road is scary.
Yeah.
Like I've been walking on it and people don't slow down and they don't.
And sometimes, and were you might have been the one, I came down through there yesterday, I was like, where did you come from? Like, you were
Oh,
like,
I do
believe it,
remember.
yeah.
I was just a little
And I was
worried
like-
that I didn't give anybody the finger, 'cause I'm into Little Falls,
Well,
but I do give some looks sometimes when somebody speeds by me, but.
I mean,
But
like,
we were
people
both
didn't
little-
get to it, and I was like, and Mary Beth did one day, and I was like, what in the world, like, this is, cause once those leaves start changing too, I mean, like.
The sun
you
can
have
be
a
at
variety,
certain
yeah.
angles, coming down.
And it's like,
Yeah, it is a fast.
I can tell you were shocked.
I was, so I was like, you came from nowhere.
And we have this giant snapping turtle that crosses the road
Oh.
a couple times a year. It's
Oh.
huge. I mean, yeah, people do.
Well, that's
fly.
my fear, and most of the time, if you ever see me, if you pass me in a car, I just stop. I'm like, you just don't by me. We're not both trying.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. We just.
Just that's, and I think that's what you're gonna hear from everybody,
Mhm.
is the safety, and the policing, who's policing it.
Yes, okay, Yeah. Okay,
Maybe we could put one of those, the eyes or whatever, the auto, what do we call them, the electronic speed thing?
And the camera?
Yeah, on River Street.
oh, for a
We
ticket?
definitely need more no parking signs for sure.
Well, and all of this conversation is gonna pertain to the inevitable hotel,
Sure.
right? Cause
Yeah,
this
that's
is,
what brought
it's
it
gonna
all
have to
up.
be addressed regardless, so if we did get ahead of it.
Yes,
And set in the safety that is accurate, it might save.
That's why, I mean, regardless if this happens or not, I think we've got to create a handbook of rules for owners, period, as to what we will allow, and what we're not gonna allow.
yeah, you just hand that out to all of them.
Yeah.
Either follow.
Because it's worrisome, to know that. Who knows what your insurance policy looks like? We don't know what the hotel insurance policy is gonna be like.
Yeah.
So if it catches on fire because somebody's out there doing something they shouldn't be doing. What's gonna happen to your house? Is their policy enough to cover all the stuff in your house too? I mean, you don't know. We need, they've gotta have minimums on those things.
Yeah, well,
Um,
and I think we should be able to see, don't,
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to turn in a policy.
Yeah.
Turn in a
Do
policy.
do you guys plan, what is your next step in this plan? I guess would be the next, and do you think you will go to the council, next council meeting? Have you talked to the council people, have y'all talked to Mike?
But just casually, so,
Yeah.
and the general rules will follow start here. I'd say it's just kind of a mixed bag, there's concerns and
Yeah.
some support, some concern.
We were hoping to get support from you all
Yeah.
to go maybe to the next step, and I
Okay.
love your idea about, using the chat feature to really pull in, and, I've had some, other people have experience with that, and it was surprisingly good. But I think that we're hoping for support of a restricted short-term rental area, and, if we can go to the next level, maybe talk with Linda, what happens next to bring it to the council. And to the public, what happens first?
So I think that, maybe you make a motion to end discussion on this and send this information to Linda and let it go up to the council. And then we can meet next month again. And if the council has, like, they're interested in moving forward, then we could start to work on putting things together. And then, of course, we'll take our vote amongst ourselves of whether there's interest within this council.
I think if hotel safety and police is covered, it's gonna fall flat. Because the safety and the police situation is not, there's no real answer to that.
so, and where would that come from? Do you think?
Safety and police,
It's gonna have to come from us drawing an ordinance for
Yeah.
rules.
which is
We have
inevitable.
got to do it
Yeah.
anyway. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel
Oh,
like.
so what you're saying, okay, so they're saying we need these rules anyway, since
That
there's already
Yeah,
the.
and I mean, I think that they need to be involved in the process too. They need to take ownership in it as well and be involved in.
Are you talking about the urbans?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Are
and
they
involved in
come
helping
something
to.
like that?
Yeah, Brian's on here now.
Great.
But yeah, they like to be present, but I think that, they'll have ideas of how
Sure,
they
yeah.
can handle these things also.
And that we do have existing rules already for that situation, especially the situation that, that property will be in. And,
So we need to all work together.
yeah.
Because if we all work together and we get everybody on board, hopefully there'll be less
Yeah.
complaints and everybody knows what the expectations are from the beginning.
It'd be nice
And
to
to
know
ease
what,
those fears.
agreed, be nice to know what Ann's experience has been on the lake.
yeah, cause she has short-term rental, right?
Literally,
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be nice to hear her point of view on
Mhm.
what's working, and
Yeah,
once it starts developing, maybe we can go circle back to that, cause what did she do?
Over on Truro Circle.
Correct, on the
Yeah.
business
They have,
side.
those are small properties. I believe they only can house like a couple of people at a time. And there's one that sits right up on Truro. And it's I mean, I live over there, so I see no problem with something on that scale. Or also they're isolated and they own, you know, a big chunk of land back behind that too. So.
And they are on a website, so she has her own website, they're not on, like Airbnb, they're hosted on their own website. I think that's something to really consider, is hosting it on a website that,
Isn't outside of VRBO, Airbnb, international, just things that is
Yeah.
your own personal website. I would
So
thought
would that be a rule?
Could be.
I
But we don't,
think
we
it
don't,
could be, just, the people that are wanting to do it need to come together at some point, but I think it would add into the safety element of what's happening. Because then your insurance and everything can be, and it can be checked,
Okay,
it'd be a way to regulate.
so make a motion to close this discussion for now, and we can pick it up next month.
One thing I wanted to, about the safety aspect.
Yeah.
So when we had, Bill and Bruce, policemen living in the community, it was so different. Because everything, when you need somebody, it's never during the day, it's always in the evening. And so I guess as this town is growing, and we admit, you know, inevitably it is, I just really feel like that needs to be revisited, because we know, because of this divided county thing, when you do call, and we've called a few times this summer, because something's gonna be going on in the state park on the beach or something at 10 o'clock at night. And you call and you get that Haversham Raven, and you say, well, I'm this, I'm that, and nobody comes. I mean, it is a ineffective system right at the moment. Whereas before, at least if there's one officer that, you know, was in town, I mean, it was night and day. We had good police coverage during that time. And now it's like, we don't after 5 o'clock. So.
so if we close the discussion of what is, let's say, what's the next step? Is it?
Do we table it for further discussion, I believe?
Till further discussion, which will be next meeting, and then where we can, Linda, as I said, and she can run things by council, and see if we should maybe move this to either maybe we can have a general public meeting about it without any, just to hear people to say, which could be, might be a lot, or move it to the council and see what they say, then we could start drawing up a guideline for what this might be, if, but they're the final say so.
Council's financing?
Yeah, yeah, council's financially so.
We can only make recommendations.
Okay, so.
Powerless.
All right, do you have anything else to add then?
Thank you.
Brian, do you have anything to add for any of this?
No, not right now, but if you guys do end up having a public meeting that you want to have an open discussion, like especially as it pertains to our project, I can cover pretty much every issue that you guys have already brought up in a
your
lot
back-
more detail. I'm
Your
sorry?
background is in hospitality, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I worked for a boutique hotel management company for 5.5 years. Prior to that, I worked for Greystar, which is the largest multifamily company in the world now, I believe.
Okay, I thought so.
Okay,
So yeah, I'm happy to attend if you guys want to just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but if you want to just give me a heads up, if you guys want to have any kind of open discussion, then I'm happy to come there in person. I think that's more appropriate than being on Zoom. I'm just on Zoom. My kids are about to jump in the bath and I gotta help put them to bed, so.
okay, so we'll table this for further discussion. We'll talk to Linda.
Someone second, yeah.
Okay, all right,
Who made the motion?
make the motion.
Made.
Second.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you all.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Bye.
See you on the walking trail.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more item to discuss. We've been tasked with doing a proposal to update the zoning for subdividing lots and minor subdivisions of 5 or less lots. Linda had someone initially come to her and ask for an application to subdivide a lot. But in the midst of that process, they changed their minds. So we would have to make an application with the council and advertise again before the public. I think what she's saying is, this might be like two parts to it, because the first would be subdividing and or combining lots for individuals. For instance, if I have a half an acre and my adjoining neighbor has 1.5 acres and he agrees to sell me, an acre, what are the rules involved in that? I know there's a minimum lot size because of, the health department and septic now of 1 acre. Other rules, setbacks, how many units per acre, how many accessory buildings are allowed.
So is there a problem with the current regulation
There
that's specifically?
isn't specific regulations currently
Uh,
for that or for the subdividing, 5 lots or less.
5 acres?
She said
5 acres?
lots, but I'm not sure if,
Vote to call it a subdivision
yeah,
and then to follow subdivision requirement.
yeah.
Okay,
And I know, let's see. Obviously, this is gonna take a while, look to maybe Raven County's ordinances, cause they already have them in place. And this would take, obviously, work sessions. I mean, she gave us information from years ago.
It's like 1982.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean, that's good, I don't know, to me, that looks like it'll be a lot of work sessions to. And again, maybe, I started looking at some of the Raven County website, they definitely have. Their rules in place for this,
Yeah, they're really restricted.
yeah,
like that.
using Raven counties, you
Well,
mean?
like really restricted.
Oh,
Like, not everything's kind of been, well, you have to have a certain size lot for septic, but
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
And that's not been updated since 1982.
Does that like it?
so this is not even part of. The ordinance we have online, this was a separate. Thing that she said that they just fell back to when people were asking about this. So I don't think there's anything. In there. And again, that's why I'm saying looking to Raven at least for guidance, cause. This is gonna be a lot of work, I think.
Can you describe the gist of what they're wanting to do? I know you just did, but I lost track of.
Well, to me, I see it as, like I said, two separate things. Cause what initially set this in motion was when somebody came to her and said, hey, I wanna buy part of my neighbor's
Okay,
land.
okay,
Okay, so that's, one thing, But the other thing is somebody who has. Say 5 acres and they wanna subdivide it to sell it off. That's what. This is talking about.
so how do they subdivide it?
Yeah,
So where does campground come into it?
it doesn't,
Okay,
yeah, no.
got it. I was waiting for that. That's okay.
yeah, well, there are regulations on campgrounds.
Yeah, but that's not, yeah.
Okay,
Already somewhere,
so look into what Clayton already has and look into adopting what Clayton's. And what, are you saying Clayton or Raven County?
I said Raven County,
Okay,
that's. Obviously, to do something like this from scratch, I wouldn't even know how to go about it.
yeah, I think that's a great concept to go
Yeah.
ahead and just look at what's existing.
And whether it's Raven County or another county.
Another place that looks pretty, maybe that you like, and say, oh, that looks nice, or something like that.
Right.
So do we currently have like the same thing, like 760 square foot homes can be built on a 1 acre plot or more?
It's a also, isn't
There is a square footage requirement, right? in the
it?
zoning and planning.
1,200 heated. It's 1,000 heated.
Wait, that in Tallulah Falls?
I believe so, It's like a minimum of 1 acre, I think, and or it's a half acre.
I think it now, I think
One
it's
acre.
1 acre, yeah,
Half acre, cause you can't get septic permit,
anymore.
2 acres.
So the septic is the same as it was in 1982 today.
Well, no, because of the health department. The health department says you have to have an acre.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what we said.
Yeah, yeah, right,
There
yeah,
probably was a
yeah.
health department in 1980.
Right, yeah, right.
Up here.
So I would assume that, yeah, the health department has say over everything.
Over that.
But-
We can be more restrictive, but we can't be less restrictive.
Yeah, so is there an advantage to the community to be more restrictive or to align with Clayton? Like 1 acre and 1,000 square feet. I mean, none of those houses up there on High Street are 1,000 square feet. Those are all like 800 square foot homes or flats.
They were all built for.
Yeah, so they're like grandfathered in, but like,
Of course.
it's a lake community, you know? So it's,
Well, I guess that's opinions, right? I mean,
well, what it does is it doesn't allow for a trailer to be put on a lot.
Correct.
Okay, so it's classist in my
I
opinion.
think you can.
You
Yeah,
do,
have a double wide.
Yeah, there's
It
already
has to be new done.
zoning for, manufactured homes, which is kind of different than a classic trailer, I
Yeah.
guess, right? You can buy modular manufactured,
Engineered, pre-engineered.
yeah.
does it restrict trailers now? I know Hall County does.
I feel like Raven said they had to be new. Or they had to be inspected. I can't remember what. Raven has something on it. You can't just like bring in
Right,
one that you bought from 1976 off the back of somebody's and bring it in now.
and see, that's
Unless
something
you
that,
completely redo it. And I don't know if they require you to retire the title. They might
Okay.
require you to retire the title.
okay,
I guess we should also, did Linda give you a handbook ever about with all the, oh, you got one.
yeah.
Lucky you, I didn't.
Oh, well, you will get one.
I've asked her for one once,
Oh.
and I have not gotten it. so.
Yeah, I'll tell.
That would be super helpful,
Yeah.
with the zoning and planning. Oh, you got one too.
I did, I
Oh.
said leave and,
That's,
I brought her
that was so
cookies.
nice. I didn't get her cookies, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the secret.
Yeah, super got. Anyway, I'll mention that to her. again.
yes.
So is there,
But to go through and look at the existing stuff that we do have
Which
for subdivisions.
isn't much from what I understand, yeah.
what is the potential growth of Tallulah Falls in the manner of that?
Right here, nothing. A
Yeah.
lot across this, or across the lake. And I think it pretty could fit this direction.
There's hundreds and hundreds of acres to Georgia Power owns. That are probably, some of that's within Tallulah Falls, and there's some private land holdings
I think there's a lot of private land
Yeah,
holdings
a
too
lot
that could
here.
be,
along the lake.
And
Yeah.
over to Tugela Village Road, a lot of land that way.
Yeah.
Cause they
So
all,
this
they
is-
all have actual address, but they're in Tulsa Falls.
So this covers all of that.
And there's big lots over there.
yeah.
And there's like one for sale right now, it's like 15 acres with a house on it, to be split up.
Should it be, is there a demand for growth here?
Should and could.
Yes,
What is the-
it's growing a lot here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is like the
5 years up.
financial median and age, like all that factor in?
Yeah,
I think age is pretty high. Like it's not a young families.
Even though the school is right here?
Yeah, I think we probably are the I probably have the youngest family.
But that's good, that demographic is definitely growing. I mean, when I go to the gym, right, it's like, I say, wow, look at all these young kids here now. I used to just be like,
For Raven or for just a little false?
in Reagan County, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
The school system has brought it in.
And as it
Great
grows,
schools.
Gainesville, Atlanta swell, it's just, I mean,
it's coming out,
way.
definitely. Well, and my son's, goes to Tallulah. He's a sophomore now. We moved here when he was what was he, 8th grade. We had the hardest time finding anything here at all. I mean, there's people who, we were looking for just land and we wrote everybody in Tallulah Falls in this area. And mostly didn't get responses. A lot of this land, I think, is owned by like trusts and that, and people don't even know what they have, I
Yeah.
think.
I
So,
agree.
yeah,
I think that's how Mary Beth and Dawn ended up with their property, but it was in a trust that a lady was like, I don't know, it's so much,
yeah,
I don't know. And she was just like, no, because I don't wanna deal with it.
right.
And then Dawn was like, hey, but what about this piece? And that's how it ended up happening.
Yeah.
5 years ago, so. You're right, and so like potential could be for growth for families, then we would wanna look at. Those restrictions, because if we, 1,000 square foot house on an acre is very large. Oh, I mean, it's not small, but. It's not a new build.
But depending on where you are, your entire acre is not gonna be buildable either.
That's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
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 And you might end up putting more money into land development to put your 1,000 square foot house on there than you actually spend on your house.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also hard sometimes to get septic here because of the land. You know, there's a lot of rock in that.
Yeah, this
Just
is a
can't-
big thing that they're asking.
Yes,
That has to be done, it hasn't been done, or just needs to be done because the demand is there?
I think just because it hasn't been
It
done.
hasn't been, and I mean, honestly, if you think about it, it's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, Haversham's overrun now.
I know, I feel like
It's a
planning
sacred
and
call.
zoning is like really important now.
Yeah, and we can't think about it today, we've gotta think about it
Yeah,
10 years from now.
yeah, and what that, because if you put certain restrictions on it, you're gonna push certain people out.
Or you just rewrite it again 5 years from now, because it's changing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And it is a 5 year thing, every 5 years it gets written up, or did,
Oh,
are you throwing?
No, I'm just throwing it out.
So every year. it
Because,
could be revisited.
I mean, they've got the inland port coming in.
Yes. Yeah,
You
that's,
Think of how many people are pissed off in Haversham because of that big development
Yeah.
coming on Level Grove.
that's.
And they're like, I moved here to get away from all
Right,
of that.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's one in Tiger.
That's how it just keeps
One on
going, they just
Clayton.
keeps pushing it on.
Big, thing,
One on 76.
yeah,
Cottages.
all the same.
Is
Yeah.
that gonna be air rentals or is that gonna be?
They're all
Separate.
rentals, yeah, some giant like
They don't have the option to purchase,
ticky boxes.
I think they did it first, maybe? No, I don't think they did.
they cannot buy those houses, they're only
I
rentals.
think they are.
That is, yeah.
Where is that?
The cottages on 76,
I don't-
like on the right as you're just out of the
Yes.
town, but,
Yeah.
but that would be
They're
weird, they're
expensive.
only rentals. So that could be language in there, right? Like. Rentals turn into, changes the demographics. It
Oh,
changes-
you mean? Like,
Like if a
yearly-
subdivision came in and became only a rental,
okay,
like
yeah.
that's not
right,
a rooted investment
Right.
into a community.
They
Right.
may not have started out that way, I don't know. But I know that I know that a bunch of teachers rented them from Raven Gap and from Pool Falls. I think had several teachers that immediately moved into them because there was nothing else to come up.
So there's a demand for rental, what? I feel.
The price range is very high, like it's not affordable housing. But is anything?
well,
Right.
don't you want it a little higher anyway? I mean.
I don't know, I wanna say yes, but I see people struggle with
I
Yeah.
was
like,
gonna say, I'm the same way, it's like yes and no.
yeah, I mean,
Well, it can't be not in my backyard, I mean, you know, I mean, that's tough.
yeah.
But you don't wanna see. You then put a whole bunch of smaller houses close together
Right.
where there's no yards and it's just, like, you don't wanna see what happened with the cottages necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, you wanna see a little more, you want to see a little bigger where your family can get out in the yard and play.
Yes,
And like my sister moved into a neighborhood like that. She hates it. You can sit at your dining room table and look at the dining room table across right there. I mean, like, it's literally from me to the window, it's the neighbors.
well, then again, that would be part of the rules then too, you know, you could say 2 acres or more, I mean, you could. I guess
Acre
a
is a
town,
lot of land,
yeah,
I mean, it is a lot, of land.
It's a lot of land when it's flat,
right.
but when
Uh-huh.
it's like this, it's not a lot.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But and if you're renting and you rent in a subdivision like the cottages, and they don't offer facilities like a pool, community pool, and do you know what I mean? Like, that's like the. Really bad.
Well, and again, I'm wondering if some of this, is, like, how hard is it to put in a pool with the land that we have around
There
here?
was one at the top of the mountain.
You really, I'm just,
Yeah. I
They got rid of that.
That was.
just, you know, the topography or whatever and what's underneath and,
People will put a pool wherever they want.
If I could put a pool in my yard right now, it would, I would, but it would cost more than my house is worth.
yeah, most pools now.
I would put one in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though you have a lake down at the bottom.
Right.
We have a community pool.
That's what I said. I was like, somebody put one in, I'll get a membership to your pool.
Yeah.
Ally, did you get a handbook ever for the zoning?
No, I don't.
Okay, I should have included you in my email
Oh,
I just sent.
Yeah, well,
yeah, that'd be.
So yeah, I think we should I think this is definitely something we should look at, if it hasn't been updated or anything too, because you want them to build a nice neighborhood, and you want somebody to take.
Height
Right.
requirements and,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
some like towering,
When you
some
put it in your
junk.
neighborhood, it needs to have a road that can
Yes.
fit 2 cars on it.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
because that's another.
And what else?
Reagan
You're
County.
gonna have-
and
Yeah.
lights.
Sidewalks and,
All
yeah.
that needs to be taken into
Yeah, Reagan
account.
County let you build some narrow roads in their subdivisions, right? So I think that was something we could have a higher. Level of requirements
Yes.
for.
And speed bumps are not the solution because that is,
No, that ruins your car.
yeah, and I don't
How
mind
many
them
people go
here.
up here? I don't go that way.
I don't go that way. I would say I don't mind them here because there's another option.
Yeah.
But when those kids at the Saturday night,
Yes.
I think that's so good.
Right,
But for the rest of the week, it's like,
Yeah.
God.
There's a better speed bump than those
Yeah.
speed bumps.
But it does
Yeah,
keep people
uh-huh.
from driving on that. road.
Yes.
Like that is.
and that's the straight road, so it's not,
Yeah,
you kinda
But
do
they
need
do-
something, but yeah.
River Street is dangerous.
It was, like I said, I mean,
That-
yesterday, she was like blended in, and then I came, I was like, where up, hurry.
Yeah,
But I will drive down the middle for that reason too.
Yeah,
and we go really slow. We put our windows down, we go really slow.
yeah,
But we have this thing on our dashboard. It says State Farm gives you a lower insurance if you drive the speed limit.
yeah,
So we just have gotten used to driving the speed limit,
Right.
we're like trying to save dollars. And that's, so we were like, let's just put our windows down and like, look at the lake, drive on the
right, yeah,
take in the air and. But we had to make a really conscious effort to do that because it is a straight and narrow,
yeah,
but we walk it a lot and people do fine, they don't. Seem to like move over when there's a human body, it's really weird, I don't know. I think it's a little dangerous, but yeah, putting in these. Restrictions, but again, going back to the community, what the community needs and what's best for the community, so putting in the restrictions,
yeah,
the turntable there.
Yeah, well, we wanna know what do we wanna look like?
No, a lot
Figure
of
that
people
out.
want to put like a house on their property and then put like a smaller house behind it for their elderly. And right now,
Yeah.
boomers are about to retire out and they all need to be taken care of. And there's a massive amount, it's like 70%.
I think
the
there's,
population.
I think there is a restriction in Tallulah Falls that you can only have one unit. I don't know if it's per acre or per property, but you can have accessories like garages and that. So I mean,
Right, and then can your garage have like an apartment?
Mine does.
Yeah,
It
because
was built
but
1930s.
I just think
well,
there's
that's,
a
yeah,
man.
that's, yeah,
So if I'm a younger family moving my family somewhere and my parent is aging out, I do not necessarily want them to live in the same house, you know?
Right.
But like being
They
your
don't
mom,
wanna live in their house.
right,
no, it's hard.
That, it gives them a sense of independence.
So that
Like my
in
grandmother
Reagan
did that
County is a
with-
real bummer that happened. I think it's a lot of people retired.
Because a lot of places are now adopting their zoning to include the ADUs, they call them, I believe,
Yeah.
something.
Accessory dwelling units.
Yeah, but Raven County doesn't.
Yeah.
They do or they don't.
Fun.
I don't think so, and it's weird because it's a retirement
Because it was
community.
expensive now to, who can buy a house, so if you could like, you could
There's a
inherit.
way as to whether you run off the same electricity too.
So you can build one in Raven County at the moment, but it has to be connected to your existing property through an enclosure. So you could basically build like a really
A walkway.
long hallway
Yeah.
that is connected to your house, and
Okay.
that is so arbitrary.
yeah,
Because truly, 70% of people in the next decade, within the next decade, are going to need somewhere to live,
right,
and assisted living is unaffordable. So there
There's that
is
too,
going to
right?
be a
Yeah.
crisis,
Housing's unaffordable,
Yeah.
living's unaffordable.
which is why planning and zoning is so important.
I like that.
Mhm. All right, so. This is gonna take plenty of work sessions. Do we just plan on having work sessions then from now till the end of time or?
Whoa. I think we take a look at Rick Clayton's, and then we
Okay.
look at
Come back.
comparable cities that are modern and making like more, like in the direction we would want to go.
More
Okay.
progressive
Because
maybe.
Clayton's not necessarily doing that. And I think that's a miss.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. I think we should be a desirable niche place that allows for certain things because the demand is gonna be specifically for those things.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to do that. And then again, I don't wanna sound like a broken record. And I don't like AI. I just wanna be very clear on that. I don't appreciate what's happening with it, but I see that like with legalities and stuff.
Yes.
It's great to enter the information in and then regurgitate out what's
Mhm.
necessary. So that can take like 5 minutes. So this doesn't need to take a year. This
Mhm.
could be like quick.
Okay.
So it's just kind of how you word the Q and A
But
in
yeah,
ChatGPT.
okay.
Does anybody in here do ChatGPT?
I
Get into it?
used it.
Yeah.
I used it on
Do
past.
you pay for it? You have the
No.
pay version?
No.
It's like having a phone, home landline phone for the unpaid. And it's like having the newest cell phones for the paid.
Yeah, okay.
So they're very, very different.
More information, yeah.
Yeah.
I think my husband has Grok, so. okay. All right, so what we look up stuff.
Yeah, I think we just research this and then look at any other places. And if you find something, are we allowed to send each other a link? I mean, I don't know, we allowed to send each other links and say, look at this before the next meeting? Like,
Well,
check out this
Yeah.
county.
Yeah, we're
I
not,
thought that we could,
Yeah.
because it's still all
I'll,
open to the public.
I'm sure that is, I'll double check with Linda and I'll text you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Ellen, because
yeah.
that would be helpful
Yeah.
because this could take over years.
Yeah,
But it could also
But if
just
we
take
have
a
like
few
30
months.
minutes at night before you get fit.
Yeah,
you
right.
sleep with her.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do
And then
some
come back next
research and
week.
come back.
What is this called verbatim? Like, what would this be called?
Rules and
The
regulations of subdivisions.
subdivision regulation?
Mm.
And then Brian, is this the urban sun?
Brian is David's son.
Is that,
Yeah.
the son of this?
No, David and Johnny are brothers.
Okay.
And David, Brian is David's son.
Is he on the board or is he just?
He's just public.
He's just a listener.
Yeah, he's.
Zooming.
He seemed to have good understanding of. His hospitality plays a role in this.
So that's why I like to see him be active for us when we come up with the rules or
Oh,
whatever
for
for
the-
short term, but I still
definitely.
have that. Professional
Yeah.
backstory of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm very appreciative of that too. That's honestly kind of been the goal from the get-go, was for this to kind of be more of a collaborative effort. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way basically right from the beginning. So that's where, things kind of, I guess you would say, went south. But again, I appreciate you guys being open to having, more of an open discussion, and hearing each other out from both sides. I think that's the best way to go about it.
I mean, if you're here to stay, might as well move in that direction. Because.
Right.
Yeah, because working together at this point is the only way.
Yeah, and I moved my family. I lived in Charleston, South Carolina. Moved my family here, essentially to pursue this project.
yeah,
So it is something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I want to be held personally accountable for anything that may go awry. So when you guys are talking about, potentially contacting the police if there's an issue, like I would prefer if you contact me first, and then I'll get it sorted out. Hopefully, and if not, then get the police involved, and I have no hesitation in kicking anybody out. That's the glory of short-term rental versus long-term. Long-term, there's a lengthy eviction process and it's much more difficult. Short-term, I can say, pack your bags up and get out, right? So, that's for that reason, I want to be the primary contact for you guys. If you have any questions, concerns, then I can go ahead and jump on getting them addressed so that, we're not bouncing around and, running in circles, trying to arrive at a solution.
yeah, I think that, for Tallulah Falls, they would need a contact person. Where like, say, a homeowner would call them and then they should call you directly. That's what I foresaw. happening. So any property owner who had a short-term rental should be available 24 hours, and they deal with the situation.
Right, and the technical language that's in there says that they have to be within an hour and a half driving distance. That is not gonna be the case here. It's gonna be much closer than an hour and a half driving distance.
Okay.
Yeah, we have people locally, we already operate some short-term rentals out in Dillard. So we have that team that's available to us. I have several other people that I have on call for our other businesses. And then we're going to be, obviously, whenever this gets up and running, we're going to be hiring additional staff as well. So we're going to have some people locally that, you make a phone call, I call them, and they can be on site and hopefully get whatever issues may occur resolved. That being said, the short-term rentals that we currently operate, we have 8 of them. We have not had any negative experiences like these because the rules that we have in place, in a lot of ways, several ways, are much more restrictive actually than the rules in the short-term vacation rental ordinance that's passed into Woola Falls. So, and you can look that up. It's on the website for the property if you want, or I can send it to you. But yeah, just rest assured that I'm gonna hold myself personally accountable for the operations of this place, because again, this is what I came here for. So
David, can you email the website for the properties, because we're looking at creating a cohesive STR amongst Fry subdivision.
that's actually what I'm working on right now, is a website that I can kind of tie the two properties together. And so, you can do the same thing with what you guys are talking about and sort of place links in there so that you can bounce between the websites.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
great. And
but
are you talking about Ann's property?
No, that's just Ann. She manages that herself. I believe she still just has the website and they call her directly. I know her son Clint, who I believe a few of you guys have met before, Johnny's son. He was trying to get that on Airbnb. I don't know if that's happened or not, but no, she runs that independently.
I think she's brilliant for running it independently. Airbnb is going very south for hosts.
Yeah, it is. Airbnb, I view honestly more so as a search engine than I do a booking platform. Like we would always prefer direct booking. For one thing, it's more expensive for us, it's more expensive for the guest, and all that money goes to Airbnb just to have the picture of your property on the page,
And they just dropped all of their insurance as well. Their Air One is gone. So
Yep.
I think it's forcing people off the platform that are more niche.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but unfortunately that's, what everybody uses. It's kind of like Comcast Xfinity, right? Like they have a monopoly on internet and cable TV. Everybody hates dealing with them, but you have no other choice, like depending on where you live. So, but yeah, the website for our current rentals that are operating is valleysprings.lodging.com.
Patterson Gap.
Okay.
We'll look into that. Thank you.
And you are, when yours are up and running, you are gonna be the primary point of contact for yours too, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I think I'm the only one that was here
Yeah.
during that time.
May I ask, do you know how many employees you will have employed on the property?
I'm not sure, at least one housekeeper, probably 2. At least one person to handle bookings. And then I'm debating whether or not I'm going to be the backup for that person, if they're ever on vacation, or if I'm going to hire a second. I will more than likely have to hire another maintenance person, but I'm already considering doing that. We have our maintenance staff that handles we operate Burger Kings as well. We have a maintenance staff that handles Burger Kings, but they stay very busy with that. And so, you know, any maintenance issues here would really kind of sap away the time that they need to spend in the restaurant. So we'd probably hire another maintenance person.
And are you thinking about having it be like a bed and breakfast or strictly like bed?
It would, yeah, really just strictly bed rentals. Yeah, we're not gonna try to go the food license route and serve, you know, food or anything like that. And just for those of you that don't know, it's what we're planning is just 12 units, and each unit's just going to be 2 bed, 2 bath. So in terms of like large, you know, fraternity parties and everything else, like one individual unit's not going to be big enough, not even close to big enough for anybody to throw a huge party. Like even if, you know, an entire fraternity were to rent the whole place out for a weekend, which I don't foresee happening. For one thing, there's, you know, not that many bars around, right? So like fraternity
Right.
guys are going to want to go to like a larger city. They're going to want to rent out a big house with a bunch of bedrooms, a bunch of space. What we're aiming for is more so like a residential style guest, right? Somebody that wants to visit the state park. I've been there several times. I couldn't even count how many times I've been there myself. It's a lot of steps. And if you want to see all those waterfalls, you really need more than a day. Unless you're in much better shape than I am, which you guys probably all are, but it's a lot of walking, a lot of steps, and a lot of people want to go kayaking on the lake as well. And so that's kind of what we're going for, is people that, you know, enjoy the eclectic nature of downtown Clayton, and that enjoy the scenery and the beauty of Tallulah Falls and the lake.
Do you have an age limit at yours?
We do. 21.
Okay.
I'll have to double check. We may have even bumped that up to 25.
We just did on the beach, Chaz did 25
Yeah,
after all the spring breaks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I do believe that was.
Yeah, they just ran them all out. I don't think I saw them like for college spring breaks where the people have come in and rented the houses and the cops have to come in and move them out.
Oh, wow.
You're sneaky. Where there's a little bit
Yeah,
of
I believe we did. That might have been one of the first. I'm sorry, it's been over 6 years in now. And I spent year one focusing a great deal on Valley Springs and kind of trying to turn that around. Because as beautiful as it is out there, the accommodations are just tiny. And they're nothing fancy. So it was pretty tough to keep it booked. So I put a lot of focus on that because that's where my background was, not in fast food. So
How much, what is the size of the one y'all are building right now?
the total size of it,
Or how many bedrooms? Is it a duplex or just one unit?
About the one.
are you talking the detached home?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 4 bedrooms.
And just one unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
How long have you guys owned Valley Springs Lodging?
A little over 25 years.
Okay, yeah, I love that place. I used to drive up there when I first moved up here and thought it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's not as pretty right now as we'd like it to be. We've been working with the county. That's actually a county road, the gravel road that you come in on, and so we can't do any paving or, you know, fixing it up really. We have to go through the county for that. And anytime there's a heavy rain, there's a ton of runoff where that road splits and forks off to the right and goes upwards towards Miss Smith's house. And a lot of that runoff goes straight into that large pond. We call it a lake. It's not really a lake.
Yeah. I took it on grassy ridge yesterday.
Yeah. So we finally got the county to come around, and they said that they're going to go and fix it up. Typically all they do is just go and lay new gravel. But I think they're finally going to get out there and pave it. But we're planning to dredge it out, but there's really no point in doing that until that road gets fixed, because it's just gonna, be a recurring issue. So, and don't judge me on the website either. I built that one on the cheap, right after I started just using WordPress. So it's nothing fancy. But again, we're trying to keep that as as cost effective as possible. And then I'll get a more robust website that will link to that one once we get the townhomes ready to go. So
Right.
yep.
Okay,
Alright,
so we'll research this, the subdivision, come back together, just like
next
the,
month, yeah,
yeah, okay.
move to adjourn.
To adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, start the meeting.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Brian.
No, thank you.
I just